Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Look, Kopunga and Barnes have been broadcasting on the other channel. There's a delay in the stream, so you guys might already have moved on to them. But if you want me to, if you guys are sticking with me, I guess you're sticking with me. And I'm going to the next game. I'm not gonna not broadcast, I guess. So we're gonna watch third place. I wish I could. I mean, like generally, I'm gonna stick with my optimistic view of our community and of our game, and say I'm surprised. But I'm not really sure if that's even true. Um, I don't know. I thought there was more of a general consensus that playing the game would be better than just causing a forfeit like this. I think I'm more sympathetic in some ways to Snoofed because they had a player get banned in the last game for some bad behavior. It was bad manners, and I'm not going to adjudicate the decision made by the admin staff. I don't really take the roles of doing the social. I don't really interface with that part of my admin duties. I'm just like the casting admin because I care enough to cast this game for you guys. But I don't really do anything outside of that, so I'm not gonna try to overturn somebody else's decision. But there was sort of a, I think if you're gonna ban somebody in the semifinals, it's got to be for a pretty gosh darn significant reason, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. All right, I believe this is still game one, although we were out of that game for quite some time. So it could be it could be the second round. I believe it would be still the first round. This tends to be a marine-sided map, so seeing the aliens in this position is pretty significant. Although Marines are not out of it at all, 4 res notes is just enough to continue to tech and occasionally med. And this will be an exciting game. Like, to be honest, all season long we were saying the kind of vast middle of the field is sort of... It was going to be really interesting to see like who would have won. But now Infamous is on a Merc playing on ELOgain, I believe. Which, Infamous is probably one of the better players playing on their side right now. So good on the Saltier Skulks for allowing that just to get this game going and playing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, you can tell that I'm like salty. It's so freaking salty about the way that game went. Oh my god. Yeah, you can't find a perfect replacement for the person who got banned in the semi. Just let him play. Jesus Christ, guys. I don't understand. Anyways, that's the last I'm going to say of it. Alright, 4 Marine pressure into the hive. This is scary. The Marines are, even though they're losing the back res, they're losing a lot of back res behind this. Oh, an egg has been killed, and that egg was a fade. So, yeah, I mean, big win already. Another life form goes down. This Marine pressure probably going to pay off. Although, I would have possibly stuck the gate, even though it was one Skulk and wouldn't have been able to have yielded a real surround there. The fact is, you just let the Marines into the hive without taking any more guaranteed damage. Now the second push from the Marine team is going to be really dangerous. This whip is in the back, preventing them from taking the back of the room, which is fairly important, but I think I might move it up in this occasion. Good bone wall, splitting the Marine team in half. That's exactly what you want to do, marooning 2 Marines on the other side of the bone wall, allowing for 1 Marine to be killed. Picking apart a Marine aggression can be as simple as taking 1 Marine out of the front of the fight. Another nice bone wall from this alien commander, and a good crush from the Skulks on the alien team, pushing them all the way back out of the room. This Fade, the only life form right now, taking a lot of pressure, has to get back. They're in to buy eggs. Buying eggs now in this moment, incredibly important. Another round of Marine pressure is soon to come, but these guns are evaporating. The guns do de-res as the Marines get back. So even though life forms have fallen, you know, it's important to remember that a lurk and a shotgun cost roughly the same amount of resources, and it seems sometimes that a lurk kill is so much more impactful. But let's be honest, P-res is P-res. At this point in the game, with the Marines knocked down to 3 RTs and about to come back up to 4, it's very important that the Marines retain their equipment. Luckily, they're able to get back onto the back foot. These are good squad field by both teams. This is sort of the exact kind of thing we would want out of a finals game. Let's be honest, these guys are the true winners of Season 18, because at least they're playing. Yeah, interesting stuff. They're waiting on arcs. Weapons 3's just completed. The Marines taking a little bit of pressure, their foot off the gas a little bit. But it's the right decision for the Marine team right now. As long as Datsu can kind of clutch this engagement. Datsu not going to connect. Unfortunate for his team. This is going to put a real economic pressure right as they're getting arcs out onto the field. They do siege out the res tower for the alien team. Weapons 3 Marines with shotguns. They're going to be able to walk in into a ton of pressure, but they're giving up their back res. They've already lost 1 resource tower in locker rooms. Ooh, this fight, very important to take a... 2 fades up now. Oh, and a Skulk gets in from the back line, cutting this Marine team apart. Nobody's currently standing on the arcs. Biobomb just completed in time for this arc pressure. If they can kill a fade right here, though, this becomes very difficult for the Marines, for the alien squad to keep a hold of. Another really good flank from a single Skulk player. These arcs are going to be closed up, giving them more armor, and they're going to be pushed back towards the Marine phase position. One of these fades going fairly low, but all of them keeping up. Infamous almost completely black barred there. Mephiles gets around again. Oh my god, dude, the Marines, are they in a very difficult position because they have the upgrades that are required to push this hive. They've done a ton of damage. They killed life forms, but they needed to kill life forms twice. The life forms had re-fade and re-lurk res. And now the fact that the Marines are only on 2 resources really starting to hurt this Marine team. The alien commander not sleeping on this match so far, establishing a forward tunnel on the other side of the map. This will give them plenty of ability to rotate, but this is a dire moment for the Marine team. Infamous's fade does go down. Another fade taking pressure as the gate is valiantly defended by 2 Marines against an entire alien squad crush. MST on the backline trying to rout Mephiles out of the res lane of their team. 1 arc retained, 1 fade going down, but there's still 2 on the field. Crowbar as a commander able to get up to fade res in and out of the hive all game long, it appears, and Bo's almost losing his lurk. Such a dangerous moment for this lurk player. pushing the Gorge and both Fades out of the room, making enough room to push forward the Arc again and siege out the base resource tower for the alien squad. The aliens also on a economically depressed version of their side. Gorge Bile, the splash of the Bile is going to connect with that Arc. Domestis finding the angle, almost finds himself out of energy as the Marines push forward. This lurk in the connections vent going to be so annoying, causing the Marine commander to have to med through this engagement the entire time, keeping them on such depressed amount of resources. But the fact is, they already have 3-2 upgrades and shotguns on the field. Almost everything you would need as a Marine player. This Fade going down to 60 HP, or even lower for a second there as he retreats the Hive, getting healed by the Hive, getting him back to 60 HP. The Marines slowly able to reestablish the res on the back lane. Aliens starting to think about how they could poke the rest of the Marine team in a different sort of way, but the tunnel was most likely scouted, audio scout, by P-Stash. Doesn't quite push forward, but is establishing that res node, putting the Marines back up to 5 RTs to the aliens 3. Now the Marines starting to feel very comfortable. It's been an admirable job that these Marines have done to be able to both hold on to this forward pressure, hold on to this singular arc, and hold on to their res as they reestablish all across the map. They were down to 2 RTs for quite some time, and they're able to hold on to this gate with only 2 Marines pushing the entire alien squad off at one point. It's an incredibly valiant effort by this Marine team, starting to look like it's Marine favored, even though when we entered the map, it seemed to be more alien-sided. Now another engagement. This lurk trying to find his exit. Just as the Fades come back in the room, lots of damage coming out on these life forms. You can see Bows dropping down super low, Infamous on a Skulk at this point, but also dies in that engagement. Marines just must be respected. There's no doubt about it. Every single time the aliens try to aggress into this field, the Marines push them back. Oh boy, Bows almost again losing his Fade. Lita does lose his Fade. Bows on a lurk, never in any danger of losing a Fade, but in danger of losing his life form. That's the second time Bows has gone down almost completely. The aliens not figuring out a way to keep the pressure on. This tunnel was moved or lost. 2 arcs out for this Marine team. Is it time to push again? MST with the flamethrower going to be able to burn these spores and these Umbra out of the air. Incredibly useful as he just puffs the flamethrower in short bursts to get rid of the AoE effects from the lurk players. A lurk Lita does go down. Or Bows, I guess it was the lurk player. Crowbar, so low. Hasn't been out of the Hive very much since he's got his Fade. Has needed to jump in and play Commander as well as playing the only remaining Fade for this alien squad. The gate exposed. One Marine getting through Mephiles incredibly low, but the gate is low too. They need to rotate back to it. It's not going to be enough time. Now the Marines marooned on the other side of this gate without the passage back through, and they are going to be able to be wiped off the map for the first time ever. But Mephiles' lurk does go down. The trade continues to happen, but the Marines are pushed back to the spawn queue, and now these arcs are going to be destroyed quickly by the alien team. One more volley, not even gonna get off. The commander playing an excellent job, but the Marines are back in the room. Risk a good use of weaponry, both a shotgun, an LMG, and a HMG in this room right now. Datsu constantly trying to keep a hold of these Marine resources. Another engagement. threatening as PvE has been pushed forward to a very aggressive position, and they continue to push this PvE forward to engage this Marine team on top of the gate. This is such an aggressive position for this PvE structures to take. The whip, however, will not do anything, but the other structures do have their passive abilities still aiding this fight as this turns into a grinder, finally routing the Marines for a second time. It's going to be very demoralizing for our Marine team. It's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of Marines to group up on this gate in order to push these aliens off it. The aliens quickly taking the second of positional advantage to push these PvE structures further forward. Infamous on Gorge now, trying to keep all these structures alive as they push them towards the hive position in production. The Marines and the aliens know that this production hive is their win condition. That scan revealing the 2 Skulk players in ambush. So much work has to be done for both teams still, though, in order to end this game. Lots of Marines marooned in transfer. I would like to see the aliens clumping up and trying to hit this gate in automation. There's no gate up yet, and the auto gate is going to be reinforced by a transfer gate, but only if the Marines can get it up before this fight concludes for the aliens. Aliens able to successfully wipe the Marines off of that resource, off of that power node before it was able to be established. Marines in a dangerous position, still retaining 3 RTs with a 4th one threatened to be built, but the aliens are on 4 already and about to go up to 5. Green Rex looking for a position that he can pressure on his own. The solo pressure is hard to enable your team with at this point in the game, but it is sometimes very important. Unfortunately, though, the Marines are letting the pressure off enough for this tunnel to be established inside of productions, and they now need a gate in lounge badly because of PvE in this room. It's going to be very hard to push into. Risk trying to find the position in the back of the room in order to reload his weapon. He needs some support from the rest of his team and a gate behind this push. Will they wait for the gate, or will they find that the pressure is so important to be established that they will have to push forward through this engagement? They're forcing it in this moment. This is such a dangerous position for this Marine team to be in, but a lot of damage coming out on that higher life form, pushing all of these aliens back onto their tunnel. The Marine pressure so far paying off, but for how much longer? This is a huge risk and needs to be assisted by the commander, because there's no way for the Marines to be reinforced easily. The commander has to do the lion's share of work with accurate med packs, and it's not enough. The alien crush does go through. Now the Marines are on the back foot. Officially, the tides have changed. The aliens are in an incredibly advantageous position as they drop another hive in production. Salty Skulks barely hanging on to the remainder of this round. The one bright spot is this pressure is the singular focus of this Marine team. It allows them to be engaged on this forward pressure position. The aliens have to respect the fact that Marines are knocking on their doorstep, but that is a small victory for this Marine team. So much combat has to be won in their favor for this to work out. Another flamethrower to break the PvE, to break the AoE of the Lurk players. This is exactly the right use for this equipment. But will it be enough? A Fade jumps in for a singular swipe and then jumps out. Could this Fade get trapped? Not enough damage coming out from the Marine team as they split their damage between players and PvE structures. Datsu trapped in the bone wall. The Marine team not responsive enough to this bone wall. It's really incumbent upon the Marines to focus the bone wall down, freeing their players up to do damage instead of being stuck useless in the middle of those alien spines. The Marines barely able to come out. Marine Commander Ritual out of the gate because he knows he has to jump through in order to hold on. Only 4 team resources able to be utilized. A grenade launcher at the worst possible moment in the jaws of 2 aliens. And it's GG for this Marine team. What a dangerous game. And an excellent victory for ELOgain. So close throughout that entire round. But they weren't able to push the alien hive quite effectively enough. Before the first series of arcs, though, we did see the Marine team valiantly push in to that top hive. Unfortunately, arcs often seem like the safer, more effective way to play, but as soon as the arcs came out, the Marines had a really difficult time keeping a hold of their resources. We saw a brief moment right as Weapons 3 was started and that Arc Factory was pumping out arcs where the aliens didn't have any higher life forms, but Re-Fade Res and Re-Lurk Res was right around the corner. If only the Marines had a complete picture, maybe they would have decided to put 4-man pressure onto the hive and relinquish their back res completely in order to make a gamble against this hive and mineral. Would it have made the difference? Hard to say at this point, but certainly the tack they took did not yield them a victory. So I believe this is a best of 5, according to what I understand. I believe that was game 1 of a best of 5. Yeah. Really excellent play from both teams. This is about as exciting as we can hope for finals, so I'm glad that these games have been close so far and that both teams are fielding really excellent players. Just taking a breath in between rounds. Should I join the chat with Ko and Barnes? I kind of like having a co-caster sometimes. Ko has been a really... I don't have... I love Barnes, but I don't always have the best flow with him. We end up talking over each other quite a bit. Maybe I'll just let those 2 Germans rule their own stream. Oh, I should have run to the bathroom as soon as the round ended. But now I'm going to miss the beginning of the next round. Hold on. Okay, good. The round has started. Thank God. Yeah. I've said all I wanted to say about the drama of the last round of the finals, but yeah. That's it. I'm not talking about it. Yeah. I mean, it's a good thing that these games have that game was so much fun to watch. I mean, it was really back and forth there for quite some time. So yeah, again, I think we owe it to Salty Skulks here to. I mean, I don't know. Does Green normally play on Salty? So both of them have mercs that are really excellent players. I don't believe Green normally plays on Salty. Let me check into that really quick before the round starts. Am I a Dumbo? Salty. Yeah, he does actually play on Salty. Oh, never mind. Yeah, so I think we should thank Salty that they allowed Infamous in this round. Because Infamous is a really strong player as a merc. And that's as much as I want to engage with drama. Is by saying thanks for when it doesn't happen. 5 Skulk automation. This is something we've seen Ritual's team do before. It seems to be fairly strong for controlling the center of this room. P-Stash with a really nice ambush. Taking a single Marine off of this fight is really important. But 2 Skulks have been traded for a single. Now Bo's taking a 3rd Skulk. Bo's in danger of getting jumped upon by MST, but does clutch the fight. That's incredibly important. Now this allows them to really take a lot of real estate. Eggs being forced out from this alien squad. You can see, though, 3 drifters being implemented. This means they're going to cap up to 3 RTs at the same time. This is so risky from Ritual, and it would have worked out if only his team would have been able to clutch that engagement in the middle of the round. Bo's, though, the hero of the match so far, really determining the beginning of the round and the amount of pressure that this alien team is able to deal with. Unfortunately, they can't mitigate the damage as much as they would have liked to, already losing this RT generator, and what an impactful player Bo's has been for the beginning of this round. Now they'll just have to be able to barely struggle into the room of pump control to hold on to it as 2 Marines assail this alien position. This engagement, P-Stash versus Crowbar, incredibly important. Only 1 parasite away, but does he know it? Looking for Crowbar, but Crowbar has walked all the way around him. Now the kill coming through. P-Stash does save the day. So important. It is sad for this alien squad that they weren't able to hold on to generators. If they had only won that engagement in the middle just a little bit more, I would have loved to see this risky strategy from a Ritual playing out a little bit further. Wow, P-Stash again. Now the P-Stash man of the match instead of Bo's. Bo's, you've been usurped, at least on the alien squad. P-Stash is the one to watch as he's taken out an engagement. It seems so minor in that moment, but he was so low and was able to connect with the Marine, taking him out, putting the Marine pressure on a little bit of a slow burn instead of this hot Marine pressure that could have been coming out earlier. Risk in a good position for a flank. Two Infamous knows, though. Infamous playing really smart. Does split his attention. Isn't able to clean up the Skulks until after his Marine. Oh, Infamous. God, now Infamous man of the match. Holy crap, taking out 3 life forms with a pistol and a rifle on weapon 0. That's pretty good stuff from our boy Infamous, the Merc. Crowbar also on the field. Eggs having to be bought for the 2nd time in this round. This is a very Marine-sided match usually, so it's not surprising we see the aliens struggling to hold on to the beginning of this game, but now lurks are out. And what will change now that the birds are in the air? You can see MST wants to go in, but he needs to wait for 2 more lurks as they just finished hatching. Now 3 lurks on the field. Any position can be an easy crush for this alien squad as long as they play together. And they split up immediately. Clip that. So far, though, the birds untouched, undamaged, and flocking together. Together, I said. Okay. Domestus easily loses his 1v1, or handily loses his 1v1. No significant damage coming out on these birds, but MST is going to not take too much of a risk and go straight back to the hive. Greenrex getting in position for an ambush, looking now for the Marine. Instead, going to get back just in time. Lita looking for the damage on the Skulk, but Greenrex goes in as Lita is looking down towards the Skulks, biting the RT. 2 birds in on this fight. No, this RT was not desisted, so this is not going to receive any more damage. Datsu backing off. Lurks able to really impact this fight so far. On the other side of the field, though, we see Crowbar with 2 arms labs. Yes, that's right. 2 of them. 1, 2. Getting those upgrades as fast as humanly possible. With 4 res nodes, you can, and very little... whatchamacallit, and 4 res nodes and very little medding, you can actually support 2 arms labs. Although now he's on 3 res nodes, so, and has been for quite some time, so he's going to recycle one of them now that it's finished. Recycle it into shotguns. The timing from Crowbar really working out well. Risk going to be stuck on the other side of Marine pressure. Greenrex there to bail him out. Will Risk get out without any damage? Yes, he does. Greenrex was really just there to give pressure, enough pressure to get his lurk player out. No lurks yet dying. A lot of the time when you see 3 lurks come out early, you see 1 or 2 of them die right away. Because of the nature of having more lurks out on the field, requires them to do some of the back res biting along with the rest of the team. That means often that they find themselves out of position, but no birds yet falling for this alien squad. And that's been incredibly important for this game to go back towards. Oh, Marine gonna try to get a pinch, but the birds are together when the pinch happens. And I guess Infamous is on ELOgain's roster. I am corrected by Billy. But I swear he was a merc. Anyways, I guess he's not. He's merked for so many teams, I guess he forgot he belonged properly to ELOgain. Another close game developing. Oh boy! Oh, MST, the first bird to fall, but will it be the last? Greenrex barely getting out as Infamous enters the room with his own shotgun. This is a scary moment as FaZe Tech is being finished. The Marines are there just in time. The timing's really tight for this ELOgain squad. It's been really nice to see how effective they've been with the exact right timings. Base gate dropped before forward gate. Never mind, they're dropped at the same time. He had just enough res, too. Look at that. Crowbar really playing his balls off. Bose, the only Marine holding the back res. But he's got a shotgun. Misses the first strike. Oh, my God. Good meds from Crowbar, but not all of them connecting. Almost yielding a kill, but not quite. Domestis coming through. Achieving an excellent rate of fire and killing that Skulk with his pistol. P-Stash, the first fade on the field. Joined by Datsu. 2 birds and 2 fades on the field. This is a pretty good composition. Even having 1 Skulk at this point is not the end of the world. Getting a few parasites, leaking on res. We'll see what MST can do. It's actually incredibly important that that Skulk player plays to the best of his ability and allows this alien team to really discover where the Marine pressure is coming from and to put pressure on them. Green Rex in the right position to assail this aggressing Marine. MST, will he leak? He's getting a little bit stuck in on trying to clear this position. I would almost prefer him to leave this alone and to go for other options. Mephiles, can you jump and see the... Oh, the boost will allow them to get MST out from that position. A nice placement. Allowing Marines to get into this tunnel, this vent, and allowing them to clear the vent on top of where the gate is placed. So many good little moments in this round so far. Domestis pushing forward to try to clear the PvE in the back of this room. Is it going to be worth throwing his life away, though? Ritual doing a ton of spit damage, trying to catch this Marine, trying to distract him long enough for his PvE structures to heal up. Infamous missing a few shots, though, is going to receive a ton of meds from his commander, which keeps him on his feet. Mephiles easily cleared, but walked assist chain back assist or 2. So without drifter support, this RT is going to take a ton of damage. Speaking of which, P-Stash gets away with quarter life. Oh, Ritual going for a pause. Yeah, just catching up on some chat. It seems like people are a fan of Mineral. At least one person is. I think I really like Mineral. I think it's tends to be lower and slower on the economy side of things. So that tends to create a more impactful mid-game. I think it's... Even though there's sort of like... Basically, there's like the beginning. It seems like there's like less lanes to be concerned of to hold your back res as the Marine team. I feel like it's a constant struggle to hold on to your naturals. I don't really know what generates that feeling for this map. I think it's just fairly out of the way for the Marines to get up into storage for most of the map, especially once you've established gates and generator. This third lane that only really starts at the beginning of automation, like, is just like, it feels so distant to get there. I don't really know if the run times bear that out, but it's something to like that really kind of changes the way this map feels. There's good vents on both sides near the Marines' naturals, which allow aliens to kind of slip through and put some pressure on safely. But it tends to be a Marine-sided match because of how easy it is to push pump control in the beginning of the game. Pump control is such a keystone for the alien resource collection because without it, it's hard to hold on to your assist chain, and just holding on to 3 RTs for the alien side is a victory, really. Good behavior from both teams. Nobody complaining too much. And we're resuming. Oh no! Resuming directly into a full-on alien crush. Sometimes it can be hard to figure out where you need to be and to reestablish momentum, but the alien's going to take full advantage of this momentary pause in play and come back ready and engaged. Tactical pause, can we say? Of course, I don't actually believe that, but a very good alien crush. Ritual, though, finding himself in no man's land as a gorge. Going to go down relatively quickly. Good placement from PvE structures. Going to make it very hard to walk in. This will be bad placement once the if arcs start getting pushed out. But until that happens, having the PvE near the doorway right here, preventing the Marines from walking and pressing up against this back wall, it's going to be very nice. Oh my god, I looked away for half a second, and Datsu goes down as I was highlighting the PvE. The actual PvP happened, and man, oh man, that's a big loss. Datsu not keeping his fade up too long, at least on stream, on some of these matches that I've been casting, has been losing that fade relatively quickly. Though he was out for a little bit. Poor Datsu. Poor little Datsu. Weapons 3 completed. Upgrade path relentless for this Marine team. The threat of arcs has turned out into one arc on the field. This position of being in the vent here, giving access to the vent across the way. This is smart play from this crowbar commanded Marine squad. Meth pushing Risk out into the other room. Bose fighting forward as the solo pressure lane. Infamous gonna be back on the back res. Oop, I want to take his perspective. He's looking for the lifeform kill. He's doing the classic crouch, but he's been parasited, so no more crouching necessary as he pushes forward to try to hold on to this res tower. The alien's playing ring around the rosy with this parasited Marine. However, it's going to be a lot of effort to secure this res node. MST slowly pressuring forward, trying to find Infamous, misstepping, but Infamous not doing so far, even though he's keeping his eyes trained, looking for that lurk. He is in good position to find the engagement against the Skulk as well. Just good placement of that Marine player's feet, allowing him to hold on. Ooh, one Skulk does slip through. Interesting place. These arcs being so far back. I guess they lost the gate, and so he retreated the arcs. But now they're pushing them back towards the front of this fight, trying to get in a position as the third arc comes out. Weapons 3, armor 2, with 3 arcs on the field. We saw this last time. Will Ritual be able to turn the tide for his team and keep his squad at a 1-1 scoreline? Gorge pressuring forward with the rest of his squad. Good positioning from the Gorge player. Does sort of force the Lurk to commit, but now the Gorge on the arcs. The arcs still deployed, so they're going to take full damage from the Gorge bile. Ritual sticks the arcs to get a few more biles off, but loses his Gorge in return. Eggs need to be bought for this alien squad if they want to spawn in this hive. However, no tunnel established currently. So these arcs are being welded, not enough permanent damage being done. And Datsu going Gorge now finally to try to keep the damage on these arcs. But the Marines, with their welders out, not being punished by this alien squad, partially because the aliens weren't spawning in the right hive, and one of them was transforming into a Gorge. Now the arcs doing a ton of pressure, and unfortunately the splash from one of the arcs, the arcs taking the PvE structures instead of the hive as their first targeting point, and actually killing one of the shells already, about to kill a second shell, and doing a lot of damage against the hive. Desperate moment for these aliens as they try to push forward and do damage. One arc is taken out by MST, who finds himself pinned against the wall, but not before taking out another arc. Unfortunately, that was the Crag Hive lost. I think both shells that are remaining, maybe one was dropped in the other hive position, maybe not. Not entirely sure. Ritual's team feeling the damage as the third shell goes down. Ooh, nice. 2 remaining resource towers for the alien team. Only 3 established for the Marines, but the Marines have all the upgrades they need and several arcs on the field ready to be pushed forward into some other position. All you can ask for this Marine squad. A little bit of a lull in the action, as some res is trying to be reestablished for both sides. A drifter looking for the Marines. I think he may want to drop a sneaky hive in production. Yeah, just checking in transfer to make sure this wasn't sound scouted by a Marine side. And he is going to drop the hive in just a moment, most likely. Is he going to try to sneak Datsu back there? No, I guess not. No hive yet dropped. You know, it doesn't get them a whole lot. Datsu gonna pull a Marine all the way back here. So this drifter not yet establishing any hive. The Marine's trying to get a gate in the back of pump control, I would imagine. Datsu, though, does get through onto this gate in generators. Continuing to be annoying. Another Skulk MST right around the corner, but not going to get there before Datsu is killed. MST is going to leak all the way back around to lockers, however. And this is going to keep the Marines running around in circles on their back res. They do have a gate finally established, however, and this means that it doesn't matter quite as much that they hold on to every little piece of their infrastructure, because they can put on pressure to the final alien hive. Now 86 resources for the alien team. They need to start investing this T-res in some way or another. I think they're fairly committed to trying to drop a sneaky hive. At this point, they could drop 2 hives. This hive already on 4 biomass. No more biomass can be dropped, so Ritual gonna go gorge. He'll have to have somebody else drop the hive on his behalf. Unfortunately, though, there's a recapping Marine on his way. Oh no, he's going to hear the clippity-clop of those little gorgy hooves. And that's all it wrote for this sneaky hive attempt, most likely. Oh! Oh! Bose does go down to neural. Neurotoxin, rather. Ritual is just going to come back for this hive pressure. He knows he probably can't get away with a sneaky hive now. Unfortunately, all of these upgrade structures are going to die very quickly. But Ritual shifting gears from the... Oh, does end up dropping the 2 hives behind this forward pressure. Oh, all 3 Veils dying in a single arc volley. How brutal is that? Depressing for this alien squad, I've got to say. So Bose does see 1 sneaky hive, but do they know about the second sneaky hive? Oh, yikes. That's gonna be GG. Man, they don't want to call it yet, that's for sure. Only 1 res tower. Green Rex with a fade, though. We'll take his perspective. He's so important for this alien squad to stay in the round. Oh, full alien flankaroo. Oh, it's going to lead to a scan. Oh, too bad. Yeah, I can't imagine they stay in for much longer, but I guess they are. Hilarious if they come back at all in this game. What a victory it would be. Man, they are trying to stay in, that's for sure. 1 final engagement to rule them all. Oh, these Skulks are irreplaceable right now. Green Rex, the only surviving life form. And that's GG. Nice game. ELO. Pretty strong round from ELO. Oh. Let's see. Let's see if Billy is right and I am a total Dumbo. I'm sure he is, but I wanna just see it. Yeah, Infamous is on ELOgain. I don't know how I got that screwed up. I thought he was on a different team. My bad. Sorry, just making a quick text for work purposes. Lo siento. Mi amors. It's warm in here. It is so cold in the Bay Area right now, it's nuts. Ugh. I think Crowbar was just like, he was playing very well right there. The beginning of the round just like had exactly the right amount of resources to do a couple of crucial things upgrade path wise from the commander's point of view. As soon as he had gate tech, he had Marines in the position he wanted them to be in. As soon as he had gate tech finished, he had enough res to drop both base and the forward gate at the exact moment he had the players ready to receive the gate and the tech finishing. It's just really nice coordination with the upgrade path. That's the kind of thing that, like, if you are playing a RTS more generally that isn't NS2, with the ability to control all your the positioning of all of the units on the map. You would expect to see stuff like that more often, but to coordinate that in a game with 5 different players playing on the same team can be very difficult. And just to like, okay, we're going to start pushing this direction at this time. Doesn't mean necessarily you'll win your engagements, even if you show it on paper. Yeah. Yep. So, interesting to see Summit. It's not something we normally see in competitive when players have a choice, but it's not. It's definitely part of the map pool. And I think it was played more frequently in older seasons. So perhaps a team with slightly more experience, although both teams have plenty of experience, I think Crowbar is more old school than most of the players on the other side of the field. But yeah, I think we should pay attention to how these teams decide to play this map, because it's going to be hard. It's a hard map to play for the alien team. It's so easy to rotate around this map. There isn't a really safe place for a second tunnel. The kind of the tunnel entrance positions that people are preferring these days, I think the one back behind the resource node in Atrium is fairly good. Some people have chosen to move the tunnel position forward to this forward position right here, covering both these entrance and the vent, but I think it's fairly easy to route that tunnel. Oh, sorry. I know it's no fun to just listen to me groan and moan and stretch, but it's nice to have like a little bit of a breath in between rounds. Yeah. This is when having a co-casting or a casting couch, if you had a proper production for something like this, would be really, really beneficial. I think that's why they tend to do it, to give people a break so they can get hype and then kind of deflate and get hype and deflate. Can't stay totally engaged 100% of the time. I think it's something to remember that the individual players have to strive to do that, and that's fairly difficult in this game. It does demand a lot of both twitch skill and brain activity to play this game. Arab King has taken on V-Man's mantle as my harassment. My number one fan. Not that I really mind. I'll take the flattery. Why do you think I like casting so much if I'm not a little bit into it? I'm rolling a cigarette here because I'm a dirty fucking hippie. Or hippie. Maybe a hipster is the right terminology. Who rolls cigarettes? I quit for like almost the entire pandemic. And I was like, I'm going to reward myself and buy a pack of rollies. Because smoking's fun. Don't do it. It's bad for you. Yeah. I'm sure this round is just about to start, so I won't run out and try to puff this. But I do have headphones. Okay, crowbar ready. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to hang out with you guys. Get ready for this next game. It's going to be exciting. ELOgain up 2 against Saltier. Why does this scoreboard not work anymore? Hard to say. Yeah, I want to hear you guys' prediction. What's the scoreline at the end of this? I mean, I suppose this potentially is... I think it's best of 5. Pretty sure it's best of 5. From my understanding of the reading of the rules, but let me just look at the contest rules real quick since we have a second. Season 18 rules. Click. Server rules, tournament rules, playoffs. Semifinals will be best of 5. Finals will be best of 7. I don't know. I guess this could be considered losers finals, maybe. I think it's best of 5. That was a little awkward. They were all looking for the arms lab, but it was placed behind them. Ritual out on the field. That is 6-man on the field on Summit. Seems like maybe the good, correct thing to do. Gorge Domestic's going to clog up glass hallway. I like this move, but it means the tunnel gets established pretty late. Lida taking a huge risk by poking his nose out that hole there. Mephiles unscouted as of yet, but they know at least 2 Skulks around the corner, and since Bose is all the way retreated, wow, I can't believe Mephiles gets one before he checks above him. P-Stash warping a little bit in that vent. Bose going to be back in this room, but going to have to yield it to the Marines who are fully in and controlling. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Interesting. Using drifter abilities, even though only one RT has been established. That is pretty cool. Datsu gotta get back into the back of this RT position. It's gonna be really hard to get him out of it. Weapons 1 already started. That's the advantage of having that quick arms lab established. Ritual gonna take the fight against Mephiles, but only one bite away from dying here. Nobody in the chair to reinforce him. Gonna die. We have Risk rounding the corner into ventilation, looking for some kills. Crouch walking to try to get the jump on one of his... Of course, he was crouch walking against Infamous, so... I know, Infamous gets blamed a lot for making that a popular thing to do, but it's very effective to remove the ability for your enemies to sound scout you. Mephiles taking the engagement there. Infamous slips by. Oh, gets a drop on Green Rex, but Green Rex with good jump away, able to take that first Skulk, but then dies. Zankar going to be up against some static structures from the Gorge and the Skulk. It's probably going to make it so he can't hold on to this aggressive position. But yeah, finds Bose as Bose was trying to be sneaky on the wall. Wow, Infamous trying to rocket Skulk to try to save the Gorge. But Zankar really pulling his team into a strong position with a few good kills. Killing the Gorge at this point is really, really important before the alien side is more established and has that second hive. Obviously, oh god! I did my old favorite trick. Ah! I fixed it. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, guys. What a Dumbo. It's been a while since I've done that, huh? Oh, God. Sorry about that. ELOgain. Now that lurks are out, will they be able to control their resources slightly more effectively? Datsu in a good position to put out some damage, doesn't find Lita, but both of the lurks are forced back to the hive, giving them Marines a lot of room to kind of establish on the map. Weapons 2 is started instead of Armor 2, which is an interesting decision from this Marine team. That's always a decision, but it sometimes seems so automatic to go for armor. It's fairly safe to do the armor choice, so going for weapons always feels a little risky. But guess what? Weapons are really useful against killing birds. Woo! Good fight! Good fight from these Marines, killing one lurk and pushing the other one out of the room. 4 Marines pressuring this tunnel position, but there's no tunnel here anymore. They got killed in a previous engagement, and now the hive going to take a ton of pressure as 4 Marines round the corner. They could trade for something right now, but basically they've already given up this hive. The Marines need to group tightly and just take this fight. The alien's going for base. Ritual already out of the chair. He knows he can't beacon. Oh boy. Risk taking that first Skulk and the second Skulk, saving his team any serious threat. But Infamous, oh my god, Ritual just absolutely annihilating the Skulks as they're on top of him. It seemed a little weird. I mean, super good for the Marine team that engagement went exactly the way it did. But Ritual able to kill both Skulks as they kind of chunked on top of him. So Aliens in a pretty desperate position, although losing a hive is not as much of a gut punch as losing a bunch of life forms in some ways. I mean, it really depends on the quality of the round outside of that, but yeah, Aliens out of position but trading 2 RTs right now. Unfortunately, they're in danger of losing one themselves with 2 Marines in ventilation and 2 more in sub-access and able to reinforce rather quickly, although one does turn around and P-Stash is building. So they're really expecting Green Rex and Risks to be able to take these engagements, and so far they've been right. This splitting of the Marines forward pressure has been useful, especially if Zankar wins against Lita. Lita versus Zankar. This is so important. This pulls back the Lurk player. This puts pressure on the Drifter. The Lurk is going to get on Zankar as he's reloading, so there's no way he wins that engagement. But that allows these 2 Marines on the bottom side of the map to get into the back of the room. This is one of the most difficult places to take Marines out of your hive. You can just really stand behind this RT, and like it's very, very difficult, especially for Skulks, to get Marines out of this position. There's no corner to like hug. There's no structure. I hate that this decal is something new in the last edition of the game, the last update of the game, but it makes it from a perspective. From a spectator perspective, hard to jump out of the death cam. Like it forces you stuck on that screen for a little bit longer than I would like. Yeah, they did take that RT, even though they were cleared, putting the aliens briefly on 1 RT. They're gonna get back on it. Zankar again finding good positions to assault these Skulkies. The OBS is developed just in time. If Ritual feels like he needs to, he can beacon. I think he's going to have to, actually. Wow, he gets out instead. With 2 spawning Marines, I suppose it's okay. But I'm a little surprised that Mephiles didn't stay to at least kill Ritual. You didn't need to like stay there forever. It would have been a huge risk to try to just stick in that fight for both spawning IPs, but I bet you could have killed the commander without any issue and gotten out still. Aliens yet again down to 1 RT. Really, really good aggressive pacing from the Marine team. Going up to Weapons 3 in just a moment. Oh my god. Weapons 3 10 minutes into the round. That seems pretty good, right, guys? Of course, they are on Armor 0. Or Armor 1, rather. Ooh, this Mephiles Lurk right here. We're going to take his perspective, but this is a huge gamble. I wonder if it's been scouted that these are 2 Marines here. Wow, it's going to be 1 Marine now. Mephiles is going to jump on top of the 2nd Marine, clearing both of them. Really well played from Meph. P-Stash versus the Horde. Gonna get cleared by 4 Skulks. Doesn't take a single one. Wow, they definitely are like to threaten this base pressure. Base gate yet not dropped. Forward gate has been established. Waiting for res for the base gate. Oh, Domestic's going to win that engagement for his side. The gate is now going to be established, and now pressure is going to be relentless on this RT in the alien start. And they don't have enough, you know, they can't really trade for anything right now because they don't have enough positions on the map established in order to trade at all. Marine's going to take the entire room by sitting in the back here. You can shoot the hive. You've got plenty of line of sight for any aliens trying to assail you. They're going to walk forward anyways, clearing the room of eggs and cysts. I don't even think the alien commander has enough biomass to drop bone walls. Most likely not. And this looks like a pretty fast game number one. It's going to be a miracle. Infamous with a fade in the last possible moment. Going to the hive to try to buy eggs. 2 fades coming out on the field. They were established on the other side of the map. And they come in to save the day. The Marine pressure pushed all the way back to the gate. Oh, but Bo's going down, losing his fade. A painful loss for this alien squad. Marines trying to pile through the gate, but they're coming in 2 by 2. Almost would want to see the alien or Marine commander to jump out or to use a beacon to reinforce Marines quicker. Not enough Marines coming out of the gate. Aliens reestablishing up to 3 RTs. If they're able to hold on to this RT, or 2 RTs, because they are missing the RT in data. But 3 resource nodes for the Marine team simultaneously getting hit. Devastation to the Marine economy just as the aliens are starting to reestablish themselves. And there's not a single resource to spare for this Marine team as they plummet to 1 RT. It's time to recycle an IP or a armory in base just to get that temporary resource enough to... Well, I guess they have enough to reestablish. 3 RTs is plenty when you're in this aggressive positioning. If they can kill Infamous right here, it's basically game. Oh, Infamous basically blackbarred. Oh my god, the Marines are pushed back, but just barely. That's that Weapon 3 in action. Armor 2 is still all they have, but Weapons 3, man, oh my god, only 1 life form or 1 fade to contend with. Infamous, though. Incredibly effective. Mephiles still holding on to his lurk, leading his team in kills. Only 2 deaths for Mephiles and 18 kills. Been a really impactful player this round. Good movement from the Marine team, however. This is going to allow them to establish another gate and hold on to res. But they're losing the gate in Crossroads. And that's a disaster for the Marine economy. This kind of pins their aggressive posture onto pushing this hive. I think they needed to let Crossroads die. There's no way they could hold on to it. And now they're just absolutely letting... This could be the way they throw the game. Can you believe it? After all of that aggressive position, they GG. Wow. And I believe that's it for today. I believe that is it. I am not entirely sure. Plenty of GGs being thrown out. ELOgain taking the win on game number 3. I think with the amount of good-mannered GGs coming out right now, that this is a best of 5 indeed, what we thought it was. But my God, did ELOgain come back from the brink of disaster in that game. They don't want to stop playing, I think, after. I think, I guess that's it. Well, guys, I think that was the gentlemanly thing to do. I think they could have scratched and bit and chewed their way back into this game, possibly. But I think these guys showing really good spirit and really good, what's it called? Just the competitive nature of these games, but good manners. Really good manners from these teams. So we like to see that. Yeah, I suppose there's a bit of a cloud over the end of this season, but I'm really glad we got to see the games we did. All of them were very close. ELOgain looking in top form. I've seen them perform before, but this is about as good as I've ever seen them play. And Ritual's team as well played a really valiant series. Great play from both teams. Yeah, that's a good note to end on. I think I would normally kind of talk ad nauseum or just jump into some kind of bigger picture sort of thing. But I think both from the energy expent on watching these games and also just the kind of sadness that comes from the forfeiture of the finals, I think I'm just going to call it. TD has actually been relatively well participated in, at least in the beginning of this experiment. So I enthusiastically promote you guys to give that a try and play that. Of course, the Gather scene is still around and would love your participation. But thanks for sticking with me all season long. Thanks for being active members of this community, of playing my favorite game, and of generally just spreading joy and happiness, as I'm sure you all do. None of us can be a black void of emotion. It's simply not something that this community represents. Love you guys. Be well. Be safe. Be happy. Go play Gathers occasionally. And that's me. I'm signing out. Peace, y'all.